Our guest tonight hails from Atlanta, Georgia. He spent his previous 3 seasons at K-State before transferring to Georgia Southern last season. A 5'9", 180-pound defensive back that was named to last season's All-Sun Belt Honorable Mention team. He represented the Eagles down in New Orleans for media days and has been named a team captain for the 2024 season. Please help me welcome to the stage Mr. TJ Smith.
Yes, sir.
How's it going today, TJ?
Pretty good. It's been a nice little morning. I've been getting a lot done, and I'm glad to be here doing this interview with you.
Absolutely. We're glad to have you. And first and foremost, I want to start off by asking you said a little bit of recovery this morning. You're overall good and healthy to start the season?
Oh, yeah, so I'm 100%. I did deal with some injuries, early in my career, and I feel like that has, taught me to really take care of my body. If it didn't happen, I probably wouldn't take care of my body as good as I do now. So I've been pretty healthy this year and just ready for a big year this year.
Nice. Very nice. We love to hear that. I'm glad to hear that injuries are not a concern coming into this season. So we did touch on the fact that you previously played at K-State. I want to jump into a little bit of the stats here from there. You had 3 seasons there. You entered in the transfer portal. When you entered into the transfer portal, was there an idea of kind of coming back home? Did it just kind of work out that way? Can you explain kind of how you ended up as an Eagle?
It kind of just worked out that way, and it's a crazy thing. It's a crazy story. So when I had first entered the transfer portal when I was at Kansas State, one of my friends, his name Justice, we were sitting in the car, and he was like, TJ, I see you going somewhere like Georgia Southern. And I'm like, man, I ain't going to Georgia Southern, you know what I'm saying? And, it turned out, that's just how it worked out. Georgia Southern gave me the call. Coach Harris was here. He had left, before the season started, but he was a big part of me getting here. Coach Helton, he was real genuine when I met him. And I knew where I wanted to be after that. It was closer to home. Being in Kansas, I only went home, twice a year. My parents barely came to the game. I went through some tough times out there, so it was definitely one of my goals to be closer to home. And I ended up being 3 hours away down here in Statesboro, Georgia, and I loved it.
Very nice. I love to hear that. I love the fact that, you get to go home more and you get to see some of your family members and they get to see you play more often, because I can only imagine how difficult it must be to get all the way out to Kansas for some of those games. But you did participate in some pretty big games as well while you were out there. Is there any particular game that kind of sticks out to you?
I had a game my freshman year. Probably a lot of people there at Kansas know me from, but we played Texas Tech. I had got in. We were kind of down. I had I had 7 big hits. I was going a little crazy that game. And I would say my other one that I liked the most was probably when we won the Big 12 against TCU the year before I left. That was a good team that I was on. I got a lot of my best friends from that team. A lot of them in the NFL now. So those 2 games alone kind of stick out the most for me when I was at Kansas State.
Nice. Makes a lot of sense there. A lot of big time teams now in the Big 12, even when you were playing as well. So had some representatives in some pretty big games. It's pretty cool to have some head-to-head matchups as far as that's concerned. So you were named to the Sun Belt Honorable Mention team. You've been named a team captain. What do you expect out of your game specifically this season, and maybe the defensive unit as a whole?
I got real high expectations for myself. Last year the honorable mention thing kind of, it got to me a little bit. I feel like I should have got better than that, but it shook out the way it did. But this year I'm going nothing less than All-American, first team, all conference. And for the defense, we plan on being the best. Well, I feel like we are the best in the conference, and nothing less than best in the country. I feel like we can go get that if we just stick to our plan, do what our coach tells us to do, and just keep working like how we're working. We got a squad. This has been one of the hungriest teams I ever been on in my life, and I was on a real good team at Kansas State, but it's a different feel. And from last year to this year, it's a lot of the same guys that was on the team. So we kind of felt what was going on last year. We hear everybody talking, saying, "Oh, Georgia Southern defense wasn't good, this and that." So yeah, we coming different this year for sure.
I love to hear that. Love to hear that mindset, that outlook on the season there. One of the other reasons, pretty obvious at this point, but one of the other reasons we've got you on this show, aside from those ones we just mentioned, is just a little bitty matchup that you may have with one of the top thought of group of 5 teams come into this season in Boise State. You guys host them down at Paulson this Saturday. What do you think going into this one? I mean, just start us off with the basic first question, maybe the most excitement with what the crowd is going to be going into the game down there.
And I'm not gonna lie, Paulson, it's electric. It's not even one of the biggest stadiums, but you'll think it's like 50,000 people in here. When the people be out there sitting on the grass, the fans bring the energy. And like, if a lot of people don't know, Georgia Southern is a community-ran team. Like, this team was started by the community, so this community takes it real serious, and we take that serious. Down to when we do the Eagle Walk, when we be on the Yellow Dogs. It's just all love from the fans, and it just makes us ignite and go out there and play hard for them. Definitely.
Absolutely. What about the history and tradition behind the bus ride over to the stadium with those old school yellow buses? You a big fan of that? I know that there's a lot of hard-nosed football guys that love that type of thing. And I know the fans love it, but what about the players? You guys like piling into those things and then getting out right there in front of your home fans?
Yeah, I'm definitely a big fan of it. I love the tradition. Every time we do it, it just gets me into that mode. I even started headbutting Irk. I've been headbutting Irk for the past year. I didn't really do it last year, but I just love embracing the university. And when you do that, you play different when you really love love the tradition and like buy into like everything that's going on here. So I love it. I love everything we do.
No doubt about it. I know the fans love it down there too. So, an obvious question, and obviously you deal with a little bit of this and a lot of bit of the receivers, but how do you guys as a defense look to stop one of the best running backs in college football, in Ashton Jeanty, this coming weekend?
First, I would like to say, we ourselves got one of the best running backs in the country with Jalen White. So, we go against him every day. So I feel like as far as him being one of the best, I feel like we got the best and we've went against it. But if we just do our job, stay gap sound, do everything we know we can do, I feel like it'll be no problem. Like I said, Coach Bailey's putting in a good game plan for us, and we're gonna execute. That's the biggest thing. We execute. We got everything we need. We got all the talent. We should be able to get that job done.
Absolutely. I know that a lot of us in the Sun Belt want you guys to win this one for many reasons, but obviously to show the power and the pride that this Sun Belt Conference has, obviously putting so many teams into bowl games. Last year, you guys went up against Ohio in the was it Myrtle Beach Bowl? Was that one?
Sure, Myrtle Beach Bowl.
Yeah, that's right. All right. I knew it was a close one as far as regionality wise, but I couldn't remember if that was the one off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
On the flip side, you just talked about what you see and what you go up against on your offensive side. What do you think they're going to show the fans? J.C. French being named the starting quarterback going into this one. What do you think the fans and the audience watching on national television is going to see with what your offense can do against this Boise State defense this week?
I would just like to say I got one word: electric. Everybody on our offense, they're pretty electric. We got a lot of good receivers, a lot of good running backs, even other than Jay White. We got OJ, T. Gibbs. So we got a lot of electric guys on the offense that's going to get the crowd going for sure this year. Definitely.
Yeah. Speaking of electricity, yeah, with the running back room you guys have, also, if you need like 2 or 3 yards, I feel like that is not going to be a factor for your offense to get those.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all.
So I also want to touch on the fact we've got a 12-team playoff. Almost said 4 again because it just rattles off like that. We've got a 12-team playoff this year. You guys actually have a schedule that if you take advantage of this, I don't know how anybody could not conclude you in the conversation. So you host Boise State, as we've just talked about, obviously, here. You travel to Nevada, which we just saw them put up one heck of a fight against just an ACC team, and obviously just moved up in SMU, but they almost pull off a stunning victory there. Then you travel to what right now is number 6 in the country, Ole Miss, before going through a pretty tough slate in the Sun Belt Conference itself. I mean, are you guys just excited for the potential of this schedule and what was put together for you guys this season?
Definitely. We are all excited, and we know it's ahead, but we try to just take this one game at a time. And I feel like if we do that, just execute every week, every day, take advantage of all the opportunities that we get, then we can look up at the end of the year and be in the playoffs. that's something I always wanted to do myself. You know, my brother, he won 2 national championships at Georgia, and I just feel like that's always a dream. Like we don't do this for no reason, and that'll definitely be an honor to be like put in that 12-team playoff this year. But we just got to take it one game at a time. We know we got a tough schedule, but we a tough team, so I feel like we'll be good.
Yeah, I did. I really have a lot of confidence in you guys going into this season, especially looking Coach Helton in the face and asking him about this defense and the fact that he said, I'm not afraid to say this in front of Jalen, but I believe the defense is going to lead the way this year. Because I asked him straight away if he thought what he told Phil Steele about your defense being a top 25 defense was, very legit. And you can tell he didn't look away, look me dead in the eye the entire time that answer came out of his mouth. He really, truly believes you guys can be a top 25 defensive unit this season. And that'd be exciting because we've seen some good defensive units in this conference. We saw what James Madison did last year with their great defensive unit. So if you guys can put that together and your offense comes alive, I would say watch out for Georgia Southern. And I know the fans are thinking that. So we'll touch on this aspect. Obviously, the last win for your program came back in late October of last year. How much would this big win, first game at home against a big opponent, mean for you guys to just jumpstart this season before heading on the road to Nevada?
Reality of the situation, we are currently on like a 5-game losing streak. So I feel like our biggest thing is to, break this losing streak, start the year off strong this year and then just finish from A to B. Like going into November last year, we were 6-2 and we just didn't finish. So Coach Helton has been harping on us to, go from A to B with whatever we do and just finish. So I feel like coming out with a big win this Saturday will just jumpstart us and just get us going. And we just need to carry that on through the rest of the year, all the way through December.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that will really set you guys off in the right trajectory and ruin Boise State's hopes for all intents and purposes from the Mountain West. So as a Sun Belt guy, obviously that would be fine with me. Let's get into a little bit more of the fun stuff. I kind of asked you this at Media Days. I want to know, expand on it a little bit. How much more of the video game have you been playing? Have you matched up? Are you and your brother keeping like a record of who wins and loses between the two of you?
I haven't even played against my brother. I haven't even played the game because I was a little frustrated. I feel like they lowballed us on a lot of our overalls. But I'm not a big game guy. I don't really play the game. I play football in real life. So that's kind of what I focus on. Like the game's gonna be there. At the end of the year, I'll probably show my kids one day that I was on NCAA. And my big goal is just getting on Madden, if you ask me. So I haven't even really played NCAA too much, but I love that they brought it out, and it's big for everybody, that has been waiting on it and been wanting to play it. I'm not hating on the game at all, but I'm not a big game guy.
Gotcha. Now you got a copy of the game for free. Is that how that works, right? Like if you opt in, they give you a copy and you get a check from them. Is that right?
Yes, sir. It was, and they gave us like a $600 check for the game. Yeah.
Nice. So I asked this once of a previous guest. Has the 600 been spent? Has it been saved? Does it kind of divide between the two? What kind? I told guys that I'm spending it immediately. I'm terrible with money, but
that 600 definitely got spent as soon as I got it. Not as soon as I got it, but I wasn't holding on to it at all. I was grateful for them to give us that. I feel like we should have got a little more, but I wasn't tripping though. I really appreciated it, and I definitely spent that. Definitely.
Well, if you get to that Madden aspect, I guarantee you get a little bit bigger of a payout for that NFLPA. So
yeah, definitely.
that'd be a heck of a goal there.
Sir.
Man, well, TJ, I know that you have a little bit of a schedule. You got some stuff you need to get back to. Is there anything you want to personally leave us with that we should know about you guys or you in particular? And also give the people your socials if you'd like to for them to follow along during the season for you.
I would just say I appreciate everybody that's out here supporting Georgia Southern and me myself. My socials is my name, Tajiri Smith, TAJIRISMITH. That's all my socials. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, or X now or whatever. And like I said, I appreciate you for having me on here. And go Southern. I mean, hell Southern. I'm tripping.
You can say gotta. I think people like that too, right?
Gotta. Yep. I don't think a lot of people know what that means though.
Well, yeah. I think Southern people know what that means. Maybe
Yeah.
some of the other people not so sure, but
Yeah, a lot of people don't
hey,
know what that means.
you guys win that first game, a lot of people are going to find out what that means.
Hey, that's what we doing though. That's what we doing all year for sure.
There
That's
we
what
go, man. Well, hey, best of luck this weekend. Thank you so much for making the time. And everybody listening and tuning into this, please go follow along TJ as he goes throughout the season.
Yes, sir.